Welcome back to the Dad and Cole Football Patrol.
That's right. Welcome back, guys. I'm Dad.
And I am Cole.
So, Cole, what are we talking about today, man?
Suspensions.
Yeah, what's going on out there? There's a lot of stuff going on. People getting suspended. Cole, you got to do me a favor. When you grow older and you become a big NFL football player, please don't get suspended. Don't get suspended. What will we do? I'd be so upset. Let's start with the most recent guy who
Wait, no. Jameis Winston.
There you go. So Jameis Winston, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bucs. He gets handed down a 3-game suspension for the personal conduct policy. So that means he made some bad choices. We don't need to get into the details of things. This is a family-friendly football podcast show.
I already know the whole story.
Oh, my goodness. How do you know the story? All right, but let me ask you this, Cole. Jameis Winston was a big-time first-round pick. The team invested a lot of energy and effort into him. If you were the general manager of the Tampa Bay Bucs, would you welcome him back with open arms after his 3-game suspension and hope that he's your guy moving forward? Would you potentially cut him and release him? Would you try and maybe trade him? Like, what would you do if you were in charge of the Tampa Bay Bucs?
I would keep him.
Okay, so you would think like, hey, I invested a significant first-round pick in this guy. I need to try and make the most out of the situation, so you're going to try and get the best out of him that you can. Here's what I would do personally.
You would trade him?
No, I would quietly ask around the league to see if there's any value for him of trade. I don't think that there's going to be. I would actually go to implosion mode. I would cut Jameis Winston. I would have Ryan Fitzpatrick be my interim guy. And I would also know, though, at the end of the year, I'm going to fire Dirk Koetter as my head coach. I don't believe in Dirk Koetter as a head coach. I thought the guy kind of came off poorly on Hard Knocks. And I know that's a little bit silly for me, just a fan, to say what a coach is based off of his demeanor on a TV show.
I think they might need to get a running back.
Well, yeah, I think they drafted a guy running back, but I think they got bigger problems than just a running back. But I would cut Jameis Winston. I'd ride out the rest of the season with Koetter. I'd ride it out, but I would pull the plug as soon as the season ended. I would clean house and start fresh if I was the owner of the Bucs. I would go total rebuild.
You would play with Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, I would play with him as my guy just to, get through the season. I don't know that it's really going to be that much of a drop-off between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Winston.
Or maybe you could both of them have a chance, half-season Ryan Fitzpatrick, half-season Jameis Winston.
Well, here's why I wouldn't do that. If I'm the owner of the team, I'm trying to let my team know I want winners. I want guys with good character. I want guys with exemplary behavior. I want true leaders. So Jameis Winston, see you later. I'm not dealing with you anymore. I would get through the season just with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Then I would allow my next head coach to figure out who they want to be their long-term quarterback. So let's talk about there's some other guys who also got suspended. 3 other guys. One of them is also a conduct guy, and that's Nigel Bradham from our beloved Philadelphia Eagles. Again, we don't need to get into the details of what happened. Right. So just for one game, he's only missing.
Really big deal.
I agree. And then do you remember the other 2 guys who got suspended that we need to bring about? Julian Edelman, and then Robert Turbin from the Colts. Now those 2 guys were not conduct. They got suspended under the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. Basically, they took some supplements or they took some sort of special vitamin, something they probably should not have been doing, or at least the league doesn't allow.
And they both got suspended for 4 games.
That's right, 4 games. Now, apparently Turbin has accepted this and is moving on with life, but Julian Edelman is not going down without a fight. He's mounting a massive appeal. He doesn't think this is fair. He feels the league mishandled the testing practice that led to this decision, so we'll find out. So, Cole, out of those 4 guys, Jameis Winston, Nigel Bradham for 1 game, and then Julian Edelman and Robert Turbin for 4 games, which team is going to miss their guy the most?
I have to say Julian Edelman.
I agree. Now, why do you think that?
Because he has the best quarterback in the league, just coming out from an injury, and he's
You're saying Edelman's coming back from the injury, right? Yep.
And also, he is the best out of all those players.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, I think you could maybe argue that Nigel Bradham has just as much importance to the Eagles' defense, but it's just one game, right? So we're not worried about that for
Yeah.
one game. Edelman is a critical piece to the Patriots offense, especially with Amendola no longer being there,
Like
with
they
Brandon
only
Cooks.
have him left as the top wide receiver.
I agree. So
now you have to throw to him.
Yeah, so I think New England's quaking in their boots if they're going to have to be without him for the first 4 weeks.
You have him and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the major dudes of the offense.
And Rob Gronkowski, that's all that you can do for your throwing game, right?
Yeah, so I agree. I think we're both on the same page. The Patriots miss Edelman the most. Maybe he's able to appeal the suspension and be there week 1. We'll find out. Stay tuned. All right, Cole, so moving onward, let's talk about 2 rookie quarterbacks that I think are in very different situations and 2 quarterback duels or battles, so to speak, that I think are 2 entirely different scenarios playing out. And I want to ask you about this. Recently, Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Christian Kirk has said he feels Sam Bradford will be the starter on week 1. So I want to ask you 2 things about this. If you're Josh Rosen, how do you feel about your teammate coming out in the press and saying, nah, I don't think it's going to be you, Josh Rosen. I think Sam Bradford's going to be starting on day 1. How does that make you feel if you're Josh Rosen? Do you understand what he's saying? Or you're like, hey, broski, what's up with that?
Hey, Bruce, what's up with that?
Yeah, I would feel a little weird about that. And I don't know if it's a rookie's place to say anything.
And I think Josh Rosen's actually better than Sam Bradford.
Well, I do, and I think if I were the Cardinals, I'd probably start him too. However, apparently he's looked good in OTAs and mini camps. But Cole, haven't we seen this story before with Sam Bradford? The guy always looks good in the preseason. He always looks good in September, and then he's never on the field again. He gets hurt. So if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not relying on him. But look, I guess
I would start Josh Rosen because I think, like Sam Bradford at the end of the year, you get hurt. So you don't want to worry about his injury because you already know he's going to get hurt, and then you're going to have to start Josh Rosen anyways.
Hey, listen, I agree completely. And from what a lot of the scouts and the guys that are a lot smarter than me about the NFL said, is that Josh Rosen has been the most pro-ready quarterback. Like, they expect him to come in and be able to play the quickest. Now, here's one thing I will say for new head coach Steve Wilks and for veterans like Larry Fitzgerald. They want to win. They don't want to wait around for a rookie.
You want a good quarterback.
Yeah, so I think those guys might want to see Sam Bradford because they're hoping that he can be the Sam Bradford.
But you know he's going to get injury at the end of the year.
That's my point.
So you're going to have to start Josh Rosen anyways.
Exactly. So why not let Rosen get over his rookie growing pains in the month of September and October? Hopefully eke out a win or 2 and hang in there. But
you have to start Josh Rosen for preseason.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. In the preseason, he'll get time no matter what. This is more about who's going to be starting week 1. I'd start Rosen.
I'd start Rosen.
But it sounds like the Cardinals want to see Bradford as their starter.
Get worried about those injuries.
All right, now the other scenario we talked about is the Cleveland Browns. And from everything we're hearing, there's no competition here. It sounds like Tyrod Taylor is the guy to the point where they're not even saying this week 1 stuff. Hugh Jackson's like, no. We're not talking about a week 1 stopgap. Tyrod Taylor is our starter. I think this speaks about 2 things, Cole. Number 1,
talent.
Yeah, I think it talks about Tyrod's talent and the fact that he's taken a team to the playoffs.
And Baker Mayfield, by the way, had 3 interceptions.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. The reports in these training camps and rookie camps.
Not that really good for Baker Mayfield.
He's looking inaccurate. He's having some struggles. Which, look, you and I aren't picking on Baker Mayfield.
Like, he's just a rookie. You expect that.
He's a young guy. That's to be expected. We're not being critical of him. But when you got a guy like Tyrod Taylor in front of him who's been productive, competent, and has taken a team to the playoffs, they're not even making this a competition. They're saying Tyrod is our guy.
Who do you think is going to miss their guy the most?
Yeah,
suspended.
Yeah, so leave a comment, guys. Do you agree with us? Do you think it's the Patriots missing Edelman?
I think you would, actually.
You think they're all going to agree with us? Well, leave a comment. We want to hear from you.
Who would you start, Sam Bradford or Josh Rosen? I would pick Josh Rosen.
Yeah, so we want to hear from you guys. Please leave a comment. You starting Bradford week 1?
And put the injury thing on it, too.
Yeah, well, you got to consider the injury. That's a real thing. And what else would we love for people out there watching to do?
Subscribe.
Yeah, guys, we would be honored, grateful, appreciative if you hit subscribe so you can be a valued member of our NFL football family. Anything else, broski?
That means no.
All right, that's it. Take care, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. See ya.
Yeah.